background noise around here?
I can't.
Okay.
And we went live. Ron Musgrave's Pressure Washing Institute, guys. I am here today, guys, with Tony Gibson.
Time to get that hustle on. Make the most of every opportunity before it's gone. Try to show up in the world with all the courage that you can find. Open the doors and get what's yours and leave the rest of it all behind.
I'll tell you what, that last application is absolutely beautiful when you're walking with that thing right behind you. Guys, this is Tim Gibson, guys, from Monster Wash Solutions, Monster Industries. What's the name of this thing? I know the equipment's name is something different. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you came about this piece of equipment.
Yeah, actually, it's Monster Equipment Solution. The equipment, we call it Monster Wash because, we started doing the wash thing 2015, 2016. So we've been doing it a while now. And we were doing soft washing, and quite a few people asked us about doing paver sealing, and we had no desire to get into paver sealing. So after about 300 people asked us about doing paver sealing, we started really researching how to do it and all that good fun stuff. Long story short, we got into paver sealing. And I had a guy that worked for me that was notorious for tearing everything up. He was a great guy. He showed up to work every day. It didn't matter if it's hot, cold, freezing cold outside, raining, whatever. Anything you wanted to need him to do, he'd do it. He's going to tear something up in the meantime, though. So one day he spilled 2 kits of Trident Cat 5 when it was like $525 a kit. So imagine 2 of them spilled. I figured I had to do something. So we started working on developing our own carts. And once we developed one that would rotate, people started wanting them. And then we started really working on prototyping them. Spent about 3 years in the field, like really testing them out, beating them up, seeing what we could do to tear them up. And then the more people asked for them, the more that we started making. And now we have like about 3,500 in the field, somewhere in there.
That's
so
awesome.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
So
that's the thing that really was inquisitive when I saw this. People don't realize you guys, you can that cart, you put that bucket in there and it's on that little pendulum swinging there. So when you saw that in the video and you go back in the video, and I think this part right here, I'm going to put this back in there because I think the people see that right there, guys, where you're walking with it with the bucket. Look at the bucket doesn't spill, jump up, and you're out of there. And you know what? I can tell there's no reason I can't take that sound right out of there, off of there. I mean, I'm gonna play that again, man. I really believe this is the beautiful thing about the cart right here. This is it. See that bucket, guys? That is awesome. And it just pivots there a little bit like that. And obviously, you're not filling these things to the rim, right? I mean,
that's one of the big kickers too. It's like if you're in the field and with a 2.2 pump, I tell people, a lot of people are like, well, 2.2 pump for paver sealing is a little bit much, but having a Corvette with a big engine to go fast is a little bit much too. But once you learn to drive it, you'll never go down to a 4-cylinder. So it's kind of the same effect. Once you learn to drive this cart, it's all about efficiency for one. You're not spilling your sealer because you always need 5 more feet whenever you're pulling your hose out. And with this, all you got to do is grab it, go, and you're
or chems, right? I mean,
what's that?
Or chems. Tell me a little bit about
it. Does.
So you got a DeWalt battery. You got a what's the other battery?
They come with the setup for either DeWalt or Milwaukee battery, because that's what most people have, either DeWalt 20-volt battery or a Milwaukee 18-volt battery. But there's plenty of, if you have, say, a Ryobi battery, you can get on Amazon and there's an adapter to fit that, as long as it's 18 volt to 18 volt. The Milwaukee battery will fit a lot of different other batteries with an adapter like a Ryobi 18 volt to 18 volt. So you're not really limited just to DeWalt's or Milwaukee. That's just the biggest popular battery. So that's what we make them with,
Yeah, and you could
as far
easily
as,
switch out the
absolutely.
pack if you had it to, and like you said, there's adapters for it. So tell me
Yeah.
about
And,
the pump you're using. It's obviously
um, we use a 2.2 gallon pump, but you're also not limited to that. We've tried to oversize them, where if you can't find a 2.2 gallon pump in the area that you're at, you can go to Tractor Supply, Rural King, any of your farm and fleet stores that normally have these pumps anywhere in small town United States, and you can get a pump that will fit the footprint. All of them have quick connects. The ones we send them with, they have the Viton valves and Santoprene diaphragm, so they can take a lot of the chemicals, within reason, I say, because if you're using like caustic beads and caustic sodas, the pump themselves are not made for that type of harsh chemical, but you can upgrade that to a pump that's got the EPDM diaphragms and valves and stuff like that, so um, pretty much anything you want to throw, um, yeah, almost anything that you can throw at it, it'll take. As far as the cart, you're not going to hurt the cart. We've had them dropped off the trucks at 60 mile an hour, and they brought them back laughing and say, "It didn't hurt that kid. You saw this little plastic piece," and I just give it to them. So
yeah, that's kind of cool. That's what that the biggest thing for me that really got me interested in it was obviously the guys could, roll that thing and not worrying about it tipping over. And it's also very stable, even when it's just,
yeah, we
in its stop position. I mean, it takes a lot. You can't knock this thing over by accident. You really gotta you gotta want to be knocking it over in order for it to go
yeah,
over.
we actually worked on trying to find that center of balance that is also not heavy when you tilt it back, because you're dealing with 40, 50 pounds of liquid in a bucket bouncing over steps, bouncing over terrain and stuff like that. So we spent a lot of time. There's actually over 100 parts that we put on this thing. We hand make 26 of them, I believe it is. So we try to make them durable.
They are. They're very durable. I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually shocked that when one of my guys actually got this thing in the field and started using it, I was actually shocked that he's supposed to tell me the day it breaks, and so far it hasn't broken. So,
Well, I tell
and
people when they get them,
and that's
if
been
you do
months.
break them, if you break them, video it. Tell me how you broke it. I'll send it back to me. I'll do the welds, whatever repairs it needs back to, within reason. The pumps are the weakest point. The plastic parts, the stuff that I don't manufacture. If you
Yeah,
drop it off,
they wore a hose
yeah,
out,
yeah. So
but
you'll wear the hose out.
but I'll
You'll
tell
wear the
you
guns
why.
out.
I'll tell you why they wore that hose out. They wore that hose out because I don't imagine that you ever thought that this was going to be in the desert proving ground, and be under temperatures of 125 degrees in the sun. You know what I mean?
One of the
Not when you first started, I bet.
Yeah, one of the funny things about my background is you talking about the proving grounds in Arizona and the desert and stuff. I was actually stationed at U Proving Ground in Arizona,
You're a
so test
Marine,
evaluation. No, I was Army.
Army.
Yeah, I was Army. So I spent 4 years out there testing evaluation, airborne operations. So that with my welding background and then engineering background, we sit there and we come up with an idea and we kind of reverse engineered. We knew what we wanted to build. We just had to figure out how to build it and how to get it where, and I say your dumbest guy in the field can't tear it up,
Yeah.
because I had that employee, you know. So if I can make it for my guy, I can probably make it for your guy.
Yeah, I got to play this again because I just have to. I just got to play it again.
I appreciate it.
I think guys have to see this. They really just got to understand. And like you said, all the applications you're talking, you could use it as a little, if a guy breaks down his real soft wash system, I mean, normally they'll finish a job with a pump up sprayer. This would be way more efficient than a pump up sprayer if you had to finish a job. You're talking about you can use it to seal pavers. You're sitting there, pest control. You're absolutely right. Pest control guys should love this thing. Than carrying that big old can around, especially on a commercial building, right?
Yeah, we've actually got some of the guys up north right now where they're starting to get the snow and stuff. The ones that are actually clearing salt and stuff. I mean, it's clearing snow off the sidewalks and stuff. They're using it for putting the saltwater brines down because the pump's made for that.
Well, tell me about all the different applications. Tell me about it.
There's more that we haven't found out yet. We started using it, or we made it for doing paver sealing exclusively, and the 2.2 pump. That's what we were using in the field, But then other people were like, hey, can you use it for soft washings? Like, I don't know. So we actually spent about 1.5 years looking for a pump that would have the Vitom valves and Santoprene diaphragms, and they weren't on the market, So we talked to a few different pump manufacturers, and they're like, no, we don't make them like that. Well, within a year, the next thing we know, everybody started making these pumps with Santoprene and Vitom valves. Like, I'm not saying I'm the one that created the need, but I know I requested it from enough people and explained to them why we needed it. And next thing you know, they're all over the market. So we started making them, like I said, for paver sealing, and then started into soft washing. And the way we learned that they were good for soft washing, we had a guy up in Atlanta. He won a contract for cleaning the 3-story motel up in Nashville, his commercial job. So he went there, and his soft wash system failed on him. So he's like, well, let me see if I can use this. So he batch mixed 5 gallons at a time. And the pump will actually produce 70 PSI, 60 to 70 PSI. And depending on the right tips and stuff that you have, he actually was getting 37 foot of spray. So you're touching 3 stories with it with a 2.2 gallon pump. So we've done all that engineering.
Do me a favor. Think of all the ways. I'm going to do this giveaway real quick. And we're doing the giveaway here, guys. It's about 11. Yep. It's about 11 minutes, 20 some seconds into the video. This is my hunting photo giveaway, guys, and it's week 45. So we're a little bit behind because I think it's week 46 right now. But I've been trying to do a podcast video so we can do this. Here are all the entries. I have no clue at how many there are in here, but there's a lot. I would say probably 60 or 70 entries. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. I'm going to toss them down into the fishbowl, guys. I'm going to mix them. I'm going to mix it on up, and we're going to draw this out. This is week 45 hose giveaway for the hunting contest photo. And here is the one lucky winner right here. And we are going to read the name. Oh my goodness. Richard Fleming. Richard Fleming, you are the winner right there, buddy. And I absolutely know Richard Fleming. I'm going to pull another consolation out of here just so everybody knows these weren't all Richard Fleming in the thing, because that's what everybody always does. And Jonathan Rogers, you are going to get a shirt. We're going to send you a shirt as a consolation to that, guys. And that was week 45's hunting photo giveaway contest. And the winner is going to get a hose. Man, Richard, congratulations. He's out of Alabama, and our consolation winner will get a shirt. And that was done at 13 minutes into the video. So I'll let those guys know that they're going to have to watch the video to find out who the winner was. See how tricky that is, Tony? You're going to have at least 60 guys are going to want to watch it to see if they won the hose. So it's all a good thing. So go through really fast because I don't want to bore the audience here.
Yeah,
We've
absolutely.
got pest control, soft washing, pavers.
Yeah,
we can obviously spray high alkaline degreasers if you're a washer. Yep. What else?
Like I said, we started off paver sealing, soft washing, then it got into pest control, weed control, like people are spraying iron on their grass and stuff, or fertilizers. Then farmers started using it for killing the weeds along fence lines. Other people will put them on side by side, strap them down, and do whatever they need to on the farms. So many uses, fence staining. Every time we turn around, we're hearing about another use for it. One guy puts one of our 50 caliber systems onto his shrimp boat, and he's cleaning his shrimp pots with it because he has unlimited water out here in the Gulf of Mexico. And all he does is drop the drop stick into the water and goes until he got to change batteries, kind of thing. And he's been going with a year or two on that. As far as all the uses, window cleaning, like if you want to use pure water system and you can't afford a pure water system, the water at Walmart and the blue jugs that you put in water fountains, a lot of that water is 5 times filtered. You use a TDS meter as pure water. So after you get done scrubbing windows, it's a great upsell. If you have a system like this, you can actually use Dawn dishwashing detergent, clean the windows, then spray it down with a garden hose and use the pure water that you have in your bucket from the sprayer, spray the windows down with that pure water, and now you have another application.
And now what's this one? Looks like some combat ammo
That's
box
actually
here.
that was actually one of the ones we started with. It's called the 50 caliber spray system. It's a pump system. It's 2.2 gallon pump system and a 50 caliber ammo box. A lot of people like them for side by sides or for camping, putting behind the seat of the truck, going from point A to point B. If you got to spray something and you don't want to carry the cart or whatever, that's another good application for it. It does everything that the cart does except for carry the bucket.
How light is that? Or how heavy
Altogether, I
should
want
I
to say
say?
that the hose and the gun, I want to say it's 18 pounds or something like that. You know,
Awesome stuff.
yeah,
So
everything that is on the back of the cart, you can see the cart, the battery adapter, the step down converter, the pump, everything for that fits inside that box. Not very easily with fat hands like I have, but they fit.
it's awesome. That's awesome stuff. That is definitely
Appreciate it.
awesome stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, we are. See how easy that was? Was this your first
Yeah,
podcast?
it is my first podcast.
Well, I'll tell you
So
what, it looks pretty good. You got a pretty good stage set up there.
appreciate
You
it.
got good lighting. What lighting are you using? Just out of curiosity.
Just cheap Walmart lighting.
Walmart lighting. Well, it looks good. You look good.
Walmart lighting, Amazon mic.
You look better than I do. Let's put it that way. I guess
Hey,
I wasted
I
my
don't know
money on
about
all
that.
this expensive lighting, and you look better than I do. So
No, I wouldn't say that at
that's
all.
good. Well, I appreciate that, and I'm definitely going to get you some videos. I've been waiting for this thing to break, and that's how I usually do
Yeah, I
things,
appreciate it.
because we just test it out, and then when it breaks, it breaks. The only thing we've done so far is change hose, and that I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
right now.
Well, how much use do you get out of it?
On larger commercial jobs, they're not going to be they're not going to use it on small stuff. I don't
Yep.
want to say this isn't for the residential guy, because I don't wash houses, but
Yep.
I think that it is definitely the guys that are in my wheelhouse that are out there doing larger commercial projects that are spraying. I think it would be a great one for a gas station as well. I don't think,
Yeah.
I think
We've,
gas station cleaning guys would really like to use this. And I know that we will definitely get you some videos. Even though I'm not a big gas station cleaning guy, we'll put this in. I've got a couple guys here in Phoenix. I'm going to put it in their hands and let them try it, because I think they should obviously have one. A lot of guys really in the gas station cleaning, they don't want to put an onboard, a truck mounted, machine and add something additional. So a lot of guys just use the pump up sprayer, or they'll use the electric pump up sprayers. But when they're doing initial cleanings, they need something more. If you're doing maintenance, the pump up sprayer works fine. I'm not going to try to ever tell anybody that you got to go overkill and, put a separate, dedicated pump system mounted on your trailer. I think that's just sometimes a waste of money, and just another thing you got to maintain. Right. But, obviously this is something that, you put on your truck. You can send, if you're double teaming something, you can send that one guy out at the other end of the gas station. He can start pre-treating, the pads down there. The guy can start washing. The guy can continue to work and treat the pads in front of him. I think it's a really good thing. And I think it moves really, the one thing it does is it moves quickly, right? It's faster than a pump up sprayer. So you're going to be more efficient. Again, I'm not positive. I would sit there and honestly say it would be something that someone would be using on maintenance, because I'll explain to my audience, and maybe you, because you're not familiar with this. When somebody's doing an account frequently, like I do, and you're washing them every week or twice a month or even once a month, the only areas you really need to treat are those high traffic areas: doorway, delivery door, maybe the oil stains at the gas station. Because let's face it, if a gas station is being cleaned right, there's no reason to spray chemical all over the entire gas station. I mean, it's just, you're wasting product, So I don't know.
100 times.
I don't know if cleaning, I don't know, in a sense of maintenance, it's going to be a big tool, but definitely when somebody's doing an initial cleaning on that type of project. Now, if you're talking about food courts, man, this thing's, because you're going to spray chemical everywhere in a food court, because entire food court is nasty. There's grease everywhere, ice cream, people dump sodas, so you need that type of pre-treatment to make the job work out be more efficient,
Mhm.
faster. And that's what I think that people don't understand. I think this piece of equipment is going to make more profit. I think that's just
It does.
the reason that a lot of guys will need this piece of equipment. And I know I see it, you get beat up all the time. Everybody, your price, that's the first thing. Everybody attacks the price. They have not seen this thing work. And here we
You're
go
right.
again. I'm going to add this thing to the stage again because I want to finish up. And if you got something to close up with, get it in your head. And I'll give you about 30 seconds here to close this up. I want these guys to look at this again and understand what we're even talking about. And I mean, it's a beautiful tool. And like you said, you don't have to convince you don't have to tell anybody this thing's well built. I'll tell them it's well built. It is well built. It is a well built machine. And like here coming up in the video, you see the many different applications, but right there is the impressive part. And right here is the real impressive part, because as you're walking along, you're just pulling that and spraying it. Next time you take that part of the video, go further with it, because when you're actually pulling that thing and actually spraying that vinyl fence, that is beautiful, man. That is beautiful.
Appreciate
And
that.
I'll tell you another place that a lot of guys might save themselves a lot of time rolling out. Let's face it, those vinyl fences that are in the backyard, they're small. Sometimes they're small sections. They might be around a pool enclosure. They're not very big. Rolling your big equipment out to go 200, 300 feet, when you can walk back there with this machine, cover that entire area in maybe 3 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
It's going to take you 20 minutes to roll out and roll in a truck mounted unit, when this thing could get the entire job done in probably 5 minutes.
That's one thing that we've really found that is amazing about it is, say you have 3 or 4 different applications that you want to use with, and you normally have a pump sprayer. It's like all you have to do is replace the bucket. If you clean it between or run water between the applications of, say, you want to use a weed killer or a fertilizer and then a weed killer or whatever, all you got to do is change the bucket out, clear the line, and go with it. So a lot of people, especially the pest and lawn control, they're using for spot treating, but a lot of soft washers as well. When you get a call back that you didn't hit something correctly, it's a lot simpler to throw this unit in there and hit it with a garden hose to rinse it down than pulling your whole rig wherever you got to go. And you can
And
still,
I'm not even going to tell you what we're spraying through it, because we don't rinse it. We don't do anything.
Yep.
We've changed it in and out. Now, we've been safe because we mix some chemicals, but all the stuff we mix is not, we're not we're not mixing ammonia with, anything. We're not making mustard gas or anything like that. But we're running some stuff through it that is semi, corrosive. And I'm surprised that the pump has held up. Now, I know guys all the time rinse it out every time, blah, blah, blah. I'm of that. Do you use hot water by any chance? You ever use hot water?
I normally don't.
Everybody always says, cool down your burner. You won't scale it up.
Mhm.
It'll last a lot longer. I'm going to tell you something. The time that you have a crew member do all that, you could buy 3 units.
You're right.
What I mean? So,
And as long as you're descaling your hot water unit once a year or once every 6 months, you shouldn't have an issue. If you're, as long as you're like doing proper maintenance with anything that you have.
yeah.
But I think that's one of the key things about anything in the field is there's a
And-
lot of guys out there that don't do any type of maintenance, and then they complain about the product.
And while this product is, give me the retail price, because I don't know enough time.
Right now we have them for $6.99.
$6.99, guys.
Yep.
That's a special. Don't see this. Don't watch this video in a year and say I need this thing for $6.99. But what I was gonna say is, I look at, if I get, and I'll use, because most guys are residential house renting guys. If I can walk 300 or 400 houses, and then now we're talking about spending how much on a replacement pump? How much is the replacement pump? A few $100s.
It depends on where you're getting them from. Probably somewhere around $75. I don't know what
$75.
Yep.
200 or 300 houses. You made $150,000, $200,000. I'm sorry. I'm okay with spending $70 on a pump. I'm not going to waste. I got a guy making $25 an hour, and he's spending 15 or 20 minutes a day trying to rinse something down. That's going to cost me thousands of dollars.
If you know your pricing and your numbers, you should be charging the customer for that anyway. So, for an instance, One time we were doing 1,300 square foot of solvent based sealer. I'm not using a pump sprayer. Like everybody's like, oh, that'll mess up your pump. I don't care. $75 on 1,200 square foot is a whole lot faster with my system than using a pump sprayer, and it's a whole lot more accurate and a whole lot, better lay down. Where the spray patterns and stuff like that. It's like, so if I got to sacrifice a $75 pump to save myself not only time, but I'm saving time, but I'm also saving money because I'm not paying the guy standing around watching me with a pump sprayer. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I appreciate you coming on today. We'll do this again. This was
we'll
your
do it
first.
again.
This was your first one. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, you did great.
Appreciate it.
And it's all you got to do is be yourself. I do love the background in there, Monster, Solutions. That's awesome, awesome stuff.
It's just my banner.
I love it though. Look, you made it. You made
I
everything. You made everything. You staged it, made everything look good. I always like this.
Appreciate it.
I mean, you did a wonderful job for your first time on. Appreciate you guys coming on, guys. If you need it, we're going to close this thing up. Give them your web address, and if you want to, they can give you a call. Give them your number, and we're out.
Yeah, we're in Homosassa, Florida, which is about an hour north of Tampa on the Gulf of Mexico. So for you guys that are in small town USA, I get it. That's why we started this whole thing, because we don't have a pressure washer supply store here either. So in the field, we had to find parts to make it work. So we made sure that everything we have, you can go to the local farm store and get something to make it work. We're not having anything totally specialized that you can't find stuff, in the market, whatever. But when it comes to our systems, I tell people, if you can break it and you tell me how you broke it, I'll fix it.
Super duper. And what's your website address?
Our website is monsterequipmentsolutions.com. We're changing everything over from Pressure Washing Depot to monsterequipmentsolutions.com and getting rid of that subsidiary just because we don't want it anymore.
All right, man. I appreciate you. We'll give him the phone. Go ahead, give it to him. Go ahead.
Hey, phone number area code 352-419-4525.
And guys, all that information's in the description below in this video. So if you need it, you didn't catch it, find it right there, guys. I appreciate you again for coming on. Ron Musgraves, Pressure Washing Institute, Contractors First. Guys, make sure you want to catch up on my free commercial sales class. Go to nationalcleaningexpo.com. Get signed up. I'll be in Denver, Colorado next month. I don't know the date because I don't know. And then again, January, we're going to be in Seattle. February, we'll be down there in Orlando by you. So we'll have to check it in. But I appreciate everybody for tuning into this. And guys, if you're catching into this and you didn't catch it, about 13 minutes into the video, actually about 12 to 13 minutes in the video, I had a giveaway for 100-foot of pressure hose. Check it out to see who won it, guys. We're not going to tell you right here who won it. You're going to have to go watch the video. We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate everybody watching. Thanks again, Monster Wash Solutions, guys. This is a great piece of equipment. It's tough. Check it out. Talk to Tony if you're interested in it. Have a great day. We'll catch you guys next time.
Hey, thank you guys.